Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Independent is Power. Uh, we missed last week because we rolled out our premiere of our mini documentary talking about our campaign and what drove us to run. I hope most of you have had a chance to take a look at that. If you have not, please go see our YouTube channel, and it's on there. I mean, take a look at it. Tell me what you think. I was very blessed to have a very talented videographer work with me and Mason Hendricks to put that together. And overall, I mean, I was thrilled with it. The topic of today's Independence Power is something that was just brought to my attention this past week by a friend of mine who's an attorney. Like most of you, I'm sure, I always assumed that we had a legal right to be able to grow our own crops for our own use. To me, that was just it was a no-brainer. I mean, it's an inherent right. I mean, we all need food. We should be able to produce it ourselves. Uh, but he sent me a Supreme Court case from back in the early 40s, and I'm going to let you know what the name of the case was: Wickard versus Filburn. And in this case, the federal government at that time was trying to protect the price of wheat. So they came out and said, okay, you know what? You can only grow X amount of acres of wheat that produces X amount of bushels. In that case, I believe it was 11 acres at 25 bushels an acre. Well, this gentleman said, hey, you know what? I mean, I'm raising my own livestock. I am using it for myself. And they planted 20 acres, 11 to be able to put in the market, and the rest for his own personal use and the use of feeding his livestock. Well, the government came back and said, no, you're not allowed to do that. And they basically fined him or charged him for every acre over the 11 acres that he planted. And he took it to court. The court came back and ruled in favor of the government, stating that the government can make that determination under the Commerce Clause of the United States Constitution. I mean, the Commerce Clause allows the government to regulate commerce. And the guy came back and said, hey, this was my own use. I mean, it wasn't being sold. It shouldn't fall under the Commerce Clause. The government came back and argued that the fact that you are making your own, you're producing your own, means you are not buying what you would normally have bought to do that. So, yes, you are taking that food out of the market, even though in affecting supply and demand. You, if many others do this, would have a impact on the price of wheat. So we have a reason to get involved and tell you can't do that. And the Supreme Court found for the government, basically allowing the government to limit what you can grow on your own under the auspices that it affects supply and demand of the market and prices on goods that they may want to protect. This completely boggled my mind. I mean, this is something that I didn't expect. And at the same time, we're going to argue and we're going to sit here and say, well, you know what, the government would never do that. Well, the problem is they have. And to me, that's just a total infringements on our freedoms and our rights. And it's one of those cases where the Supreme Court just got drastically wrong. This was a very progressive Supreme Court, basically put together by FDR to help his New Deal plan, which basically he threatened the court with court packing if they did not retire some of their members and ask him and allow him to nominate different justices. And eventually the Supreme Court did bow to that. And this ruling was one of the effects. This is a ruling that has been used continuously now to justify the ever expansion of government's controls into our markets. And this is something I feel that we have to stop. This particular case was actually used by the court to justify the Affordable Care Act and why they can be allowed to force coverage. So this is but how do we fix that? I mean, this is a Supreme Court act. So you can't just write a new law because the because they've already said basically that the it's constitutional. Uh, Now, it's not to say that states can't get involved. I mean, numerous states have. I'm going to read one right now that it was a constitutional amendment, state constitutional amendment that was put forth by Maine. Give me a second here. It's like anything else. You think you got it all set up, and then when it comes, like, oh wait a minute, I can't find it. I mean, this was actually something we posted yesterday, and as far as an organic post, which we haven't put ads on or anything like that, it's been probably one of our most viewed and liked posts that we put out. Uh, and what the state of Maine did is it put it added to their constitution. All individuals have a natural, inherent, and unalienable right to food, including the right to save and exchange seeds and the right to grow, raise, harvest, produce, and consume the food of their own choosing for their own nourishment, substance, bodily health, and well being, as long as an individual does not commit trespassing, theft, poaching, or other abuses of private property rights, public lands, natural resources, in the harvesting, production, or acquisition of food. I mean, and that's great. I personally don't think it goes far enough. I think you should also on there your ability to grow food to trade and to barter. But I mean, it's putting forward the right foot in the right direction. What I would like to see actually is a constitutional amendment that enumerates this right of us to be able to provide and sustain for ourselves. I mean, one of the things that people want is to be able to be self-sufficient. The government should not be able to interfere with your ability to grow your own food. But you know, we see it all the time. We see it within towns even right now, where homeowners associations or local zoning laws say you can't plant a garden because it interferes with the appearance of your lawn or your neighbor's property values. And again, I just don't think that's right. So what I have done is the same friend who sent me that case, I asked him to work with me and see what we can do to formulate or word a constitutional amendment that we're going to be able to put forth in Congress once we're elected. For those of you who are not aware, for a constitutional amendment to be passed, there's a couple ways to do it. The primary one is Congress has to approve it by 2/3%, and then it gets sent to the states for the states to ratify. And I do have to go back and check whether it's 66 or 75% of the states that need to ratify it for it to become a constitution amendment. But this is one of those rare situations where I think most of the individuals, most of the Americans will look at this and go, yeah, that's common sense. Does it mean it'll get passed? Not necessarily. I mean, you've got so many groups out there who will fight against it. Just like our state cottage foods laws. I mean, you have the grocers associations, which are huge opponents to cottage foods laws because it feels it's going to eat into their profits of the grocery stores. So the question is, are we going to allow that? Are we going to come out here and go, no, we have more of a right to feed ourselves than you have of protecting a corporation's profits? Because I mean, that's what it comes down to. So that's one of the things we're going to look at. I also took that Maine post talking about their Constitution Amendment, and I sent it to some of our state legislators. Say, hey, when can we do this for Minnesota? I sent it to Deb Keel, who's my representative, Eric Mortensen, who is a huge freedom guy out from Shakopee. I sent it to Mark Johnson, who is my senator. And what I would encourage you to do is go out to our page, find that post, send it to your state senators, your state legislators, and say, hey, why can't Minnesota do this? Why hasn't Minnesota already done this? let it open up so that again we can become more independent rather than dependent on the government. Because again, as the name of the show says, I mean, independent is power. That's where we start taking our power back from the government, take it back from the corporations, which is something we need to focus on. Uh, so yeah, I just found that kind of interesting and kind of shocking when I would go to look at it when I went to go and because again, it was one of these things that I looked at and go, man, I never would have imagined this. I mean, I would never imagine that the Supreme Court would get it something this wrong, and they did it by a wide margin. I mean, again, what we do with our own property, our own land to produce our own usage for food, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for livestock, or they shouldn't have a saying in that. I mean, especially when it's to protect their excuses to protect commerce, which, let's face it, protecting commerce has changed over the last 200 years since the Constitution was written. It no longer means protect commerce. Now it means protect corporations. And the corporations don't need protection. I mean, they've got such a market hold. They've got such a stranglehold on the markets that you know what? That no, it's the pendulum needs to swing back and protect the people, and not the corporations. So I hope y'all will join me in this fight and in this battle, and know that when I'm elected, I mean, this is going to be one of those things I'm going to visit with people and try to get pushed forward. I mean, we're going to one of the other people I sent it to is Jeremy Munson, who's running for Congress in Minnesota's first district. I'm confident this is something that when I'm elected, I'd be able to work with then Congressman Munson, with the Thomas Massie, and start this ball rolling. Constitutional amendments are not easy. They shouldn't be. They should be hard, but they are possible. And this is one of those things I really think we need to fight for our rights, and not just roll over. So that's about all I'm going to speak up on that for now. There's another possible thing we came up this morning, and then it sounds like there might be a Democratic challenger entering our race from the Alex area. I haven't seen anything official on it. It was just from comments somebody made on one of my posts this morning, and that's from a woman named Jill Abashein, who ran for Senate District 12 last election. Took about 25% of the vote there, which makes me wonder, why is she running? Because she underperformed Joe Biden, so she can't have a realistic idea of winning this race. Her fundraising was mostly from the DFL. I mean, so she showed no ability to raise money outside of the party, not from any of the individuals. So I mean, I really don't know why she would be, and which you can overcome those things, but to do that you have to get involved early in the game, not 6 months or less before the election. It makes me wonder what other mechanisms are happening behind the scenes that would cause her to decide to run at this stage of the game without having that base set up. So again, we'll wait and see. Again, I haven't seen anything official from it. She can't actually file to run until later this week. Our signing up period is from Tuesday the 17th to the 31st. So I guess we're going to find out something definite between now and then. That brings me to my next point, our signature drive, our petition drive. That starts on Tuesday. We've got basically 2 weeks from the 17th to the 31st to collect 1,000 signatures. The signatures have to be in the petitions have to be in a very set format, which we have and they are available. They have to be done on legal paper. They can't be done on normal paper. And if anybody would like to help with our petition drive, let me know. We will mail out we will either mail out the form to you, or we can send it to you digitally. Just again, remember, it's going to need to be printed on legal paper. And we're going to need original signatures, which means either it's going to need to be done in time to mail it to me in time for us to have it by the 31st, or we'll have to go out there and pick it up, which we don't have any issues doing. We're going to do everything we can to make this happen. We're actually going to have a kickoff event for this Tuesday night in Crookston at the Eagles Club, which we're hoping to be able to get some people out there and get it started, on the right note. I mean, so many of my followers are from the Crookston area because, again, that's where I'm from. And if we can get your support to come out there and sign our petition, maybe pick up a petition, bring it home to get signatures from your family and friends, that's the only way we're going to be able to make this happen. That's what we have to be able to do to drive this train forward. Next week, we will not be having our Independent is Power show. We're actually been invited that we're going to be at a bike show in Alexandria collecting signatures. So please, if you're in the area of Alexandria, ABATE's having a bike show. Come on out, visit with us, see us, take a look at some great bikes, and there's numerous competitions for tattoo competitions and loudest bike competitions. So I mean, it really should be a blast. I mean, this is for lack of a better term, these are my people. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there and doing this. And again, this next 2 weeks is put up or shut up time. I mean, if we don't get our signatures, I mean, that really limits our options. We do have a plan B if necessary, but I'd really prefer not to go that route because, again, it would cause me to no longer go independent, but would cause me to run under one of the marijuana parties. And again, to me, our power is with being independent. That's where we want to stick. That's where we need to push. So please come out, support us. If you're able to financially support us, please do so. I mean, we're getting a lot of things printed off for this the signature drive. We're getting door hangers printed off. We're getting trifold pamphlets printed out that we'll be able to give out to the voters. We're going to be covering a lot of miles, and y'all have all seen the price of gas. So please, if you can financially help support us, go visit our websites, go to donate. $5, $10, $20. You know what? It all adds up. We started off the quarter real well the first couple weeks in April, and since then, I mean, with inflation, we've kind of died. And I understand everybody's struggling to make ends meet right now. And trust me, I'm the same way. The price of feed and gas and diesel right now is driving us all crazy. But if you can come out there and help us a little bit, we would very much appreciate it. And I'm looking at one of our comments right now of from Keith. A hungry population is easier to control. That's why food freedom is so important. And you know what, Keith? I 100% fully agree. And we know, like especially if you're in a big family, the ability to grow your own food makes a heck of a difference. And yeah, it's the cheese in the rat trap trying to hold us still. So yeah, we need to be able to make a statement. The American people need to remind DC, the government, that we are in control. I mean, the only power that they have is what we give them. And every once in a while, you need to pull that power back a little bit just to remind them of that. And that's part of what this is an issue of trying to do. So, hey, I thank all you guys for tuning in today. Hope to see y'all in the next couple weeks. Again, please support our drive, support our signatures. The only qualification to sign our petition is you need to be eligible to vote for me in November. So you have to be in the district and you have to be 18 by November 8th to sign the petition. So if you're 17 or your kids are 17, guess what? They can sign the petition as long as they're going to be 18 by November. The same case, if you do have kids who are looking at earning a little bit extra money, we are going to be hiring some kids to go out and help us with this door knocking, and we're going to be paying them by the signature that they collect. So please, I mean, guys, help us any way you can. We very much appreciate it. Remember, independent is power. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you. Bye.